heartbroken when I heard it. Wasn't shocked, right? Jack lived, as the fans all know, he lived fast and he lived hard. Uh, but Jack was one of the ingredients of many that went into ECW that made it so special and so different. Uh, he used to come back from the ring and, his heart would be beating a million miles an hour, and he'd collapse in the dressing room. Tell him, dude, like, stop. Do it. There's different ways you can do this, and not, when you're 25 and all the kids out there listening to this, please listen to this. There was a time you could drop us off at the buildings, or Jack diving off of God knows what, and get right back up and go to the back and have a beer, and nothing hurt. But what you do when you're 25 or 35 comes with you to when you're 50, 55, 60. And if you did a little too much back then, it could get you now. The old saying, you are what you eat, right? It's your body's your temple, that sort of thing. And I know that all sounds corny and sort of stupid, but other than the OxyContin, drugs were never my deal. And I can probably count on my fingers and toes how many times in my life I've been legally drunk. I don't like the feeling. I like having a couple drinks with my friends and shooting the shit with my friends. I just don't like the feeling of being inebriated and, the bed spins and all of that. So my experience of partying on the road is vastly different from the majority of the people partying on the road. More times than not, I was up in my room either with Francine at that period or with whoever I was traveling with at the time, and either sleeping before they got back after the bar closed or watching ESPN or HBO or something. New Jack's passing, again, it sounds like cliches. There's been so many things said. There will never be another New Jack, right? When I watched the Vice segment on him, I've known Jack since, let me think, 96 or 7. So quite a while ago, quarter century or better. There were things in there that I learned. Remember, I said earlier that I learned I didn't know previously. I was completely unaware of his upbringing. You'd hear Jack say some of those things in his promos. And to be honest with you, when Jack got to the building, you weren't quite sure where Jerome Young dropped off and New Jack picked up. They became sort of one and the same. But I did have the kind of relationship with Jack that mostly was forged later in TNA, where he and I would sit in hotel rooms and just BS for a couple hours, and no partying or anything, just sitting there and bullshitting, and got to see a completely different side of him than what the cameras see or what we saw in the ECW dressing room. And there was a damn good guy under that, but a damn good guy that you didn't want to fool with. And I the way I liken it in my head is that New Jack was the front that Jerome Young put up to protect him from all that stuff that we heard in the Vice Dark Side of the Ring, and and that was a legit thing. Jack wasn't just going to walk, be the guy that barked. He also had a bite to go with that if it had to. But he and I, would joke around and say things in the dressing room to each other that most people would find distasteful or politically incorrect by today's standards. But that's the kind of relationship that we had. We were brothers. And, that just, again, a little sidebar for me. I think that's where our world right now and all the craziness that we're seeing, you're still living through a shutdown up there in Canada, is, I'm a political scientist, right? I taught it for 7 years. I've spent my adult life learning it. But believe it or not, as much as I love politics, there are times that I don't want politics. If I turn on wrestling, I don't give a rat's ass what your politics are. If I turn on a football game, a basketball game, I want to watch football, basketball, wrestling, racing, whatever. There's a place for politics and there's places for not politics. Most people want to turn on sports to get away from all that insanity, and yet it's being bled in. You're one of the boys, so being in the dressing room is a completely different world. One time in an ECW promo, I used the antiquated, and from the old world, the inner holy of holies, right? This is the one place we can go and still be us. We can let our hair down. We can say whatever we want to each other. We can fight. We can kiss, hug, whatever. That's our inner sanctum. And Jack and I had a special kind of relationship there. And so for his passing, to answer the question finally, I was heartbroken to hear it. Not shocked, but heartbroken.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.